If you love your woo, it's time to make a commitment to the 3rd annual SOR Fan Party. This time, we're heading to Reno, Nevada and the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort, May 10th through 12th, 2024. Tickets are $60 or $100 for VIP. With that, you get a free radio show, you get to hang out with celebrity guests from Spaced Out Radio, including our team, who are coming to hang out with you. You get to meet the entire team, like Science Bob, Merle, Melinda Leslie, Geraldina Roscoe, and more. It's a weekend packed with adventure, and we want you there. After all, we're doing this for you. Find out more and get your tickets at info@spacedoutradio.com and book your hotels today at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort in Reno, Nevada. Come join us for the SOR Fan Party, May 10th through 12th, 2024.
Y'all ready to head off the trails? I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on the Spaced Out Radio's YouTube channel. If you guys haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. We would love to have you. And shout out to Bumblefoot for that awesome intro music. I always appreciate it. You guys, please go follow us on social media at Spaced Out Radio on all platforms except for Instagram, and that's Spaced Out Radio Show. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, okay, wherever you want to find us, we're there. Yeah, you guys can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. That is my website. All of my shows are posted there. All of the events that I'm going to be at, including the Full Disclosure Now conference coming up in July. That's down in St. Pete, Florida. I would love to see you guys there. We have a huge lineup for that conference. Also, what else? I may be at the Appalachian Starseed reunion coming up. That's in August. And, oh my God, what are the other ones? The Squatch Out in East Tennessee is in September. And, oh, there's something else that's coming up. Can't remember. Anyways, y'all, go to my website. Everything is there. Oh, Space Out Radio Fan Party. I just did, you know what? That's what it is. I did the commercial so that I wouldn't forget. Okay. I played that commercial just for you guys tonight. Like, how could I forget? Okay. So, next month, May 10th through the 12th, that's in like 2 weeks, y'all. We're going to be in Reno, Nevada. Okay. And, I'll be there. I'll be there if I can remember. Okay. I'll be there. But anyways, yeah, I've been out Bigfooting today. My son and I went out and did some scouting, some tracking today. So I've had a long day. I'm a little tired. But hey, I'm here and we're going to have a really good time tonight because I have my friend, Long Island Bigfoot Mike, in the studio tonight. And we're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff. We're going to be talking about the scariest cryptid encounters that he's had. I might throw in a story or two. as well. And yes, Long Island Bigfoot Mike has been protected by Bigfoot before. So we're going to get into that tonight. Okay, so you guys go get your popcorn and get ready, buckle in, because we're going to go down some rabbit holes potentially, as we always do with the Cryptid Huntress. Okay, and don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has a fantastic show set up for you guys. Jim Goodall is going to be in the studio tonight with Rob G. So I hope you guys will tune in for that after the show tonight. Yeah, if you'd like more information on that Reno trip, go to the Spaced Out Radio website. Okay, and also don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club if you'd like. That is our Patreon here at Spaced Out Radio. And also, I have a Patreon as well. That's the Cryptid Huntress, if you'd like to support my work individually as well. Okay, and speaking of support, thank you, T-Bone. That is so sweet of you. I appreciate your support. Man, that's so great. Thank you so much. And we appreciate you at Spaced Out Radio. Okay, well, let's get to our guest tonight, because I see Mike in the studio. So I see him here. So he's here. We're good to go. Okay. Long Island Bigfoot Mike grew up in Long Island, New York. Between 2007 and 2011, Mike served in the Army and spent a year in Afghanistan. While the impact of what he experienced is something he works on healing every day, searching for Bigfoot brings Mike peace and relief from the effects of PTSD. Walking through a primary stretch of forest paramount to his research known as Bubba's house, he became familiar with his surroundings for 5 years before he began documenting any activity. Uncertain of what he was actually experiencing, he took some time before he spoke out on his findings, and he realized what he was observing was similar to what other researchers were reporting. He began documenting via video and photography the interactions with Bigfoot and their families that he was having. He's also observed other entities and anomalies in the woods of Long Island and the Catskill Mountains. This is going to be fantastic. We've had Long Island Bigfoot Mike on before, and he's been on After Hours. I love having him here. So please help me welcome to the show my buddy, Long Island Bigfoot Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Jessica.
Long time no see.
I know. Let me apologize for my my poor responsiveness prior to the show. I took a little power nap, so yeah.
Good thing I texted you right before the show.
It was so crazy. I know. I feel so bad. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like I left her hanging, but
no,
I mean,
you're perfect. You're here.
All right.
You're
I know. I haven't had my chance to properly apologize because I like to be backstage. I don't like you to be like, worried about, your guest being here or whatever. But
Mike, I've been doing this long enough where it ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Okay. Yeah. I was ready to, if I need to, I can just talk by myself. I'm good.
That's so true. But
I know.
And then you see Jim Goodall's coming on after, and I'm like, oh man,
dude.
Like,
I know, right?
Like, just go.
I know. We got Jim Good. We have an all-star lineup here at Spaced Out Radio tonight. We have the Long Island Bigfoot and Uncle Jim Goodall.
Jim is just one of those, like, he's just one of those like all-time greats. You know what I mean? Like,
he is. He's a great guy. I love him to death. And he's going to be at Reno, from what I heard, at our Spaced Out Radio fan party coming up in about 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Nevada, hanging out, and just having fun. We're going to be broadcasting live from Reno, Nevada, here at Spaced Out Radio. So, but yeah, like, I know you're tired. You've been spending a lot of time out in the woods.
Sure have.
I just got home. I was out in the woods all day today, and so yeah, I'm a little tired too. I think at least the last 1 or 2 times that you've been on my show, you and I had both been out in the woods, and we were tired. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, I think last time you were coming off, you were coming off like an expedition. I think like a 2 or 3 day, and like. I think you had actually like, oh man, I can't remember exactly, but you were out there for a minute.
Oh yeah, I was nice, and I think I had taken a shower though. Okay, so that's the important thing. So
yeah. I I did get back yesterday. I'm just still I'm jet lagged, I guess. So
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. Okay, so tell me about what you've been up to lately. And I mean, you spend more time out in the woods than most people that I know. Boots on the ground, field research.
yeah.
Tell me about your latest adventures.
I was in an area like this past few days, I guess we'll just go to, right? Let's go to most recent. Usually I go deep up into the Catskills. I go further than I went this particular time. I had gone into the lower region once before with Dark Hour Paranormal. I had landed there on accident, like in a previous time, and I called him up and he met me out there, and we went to this place called Black Rock Forest, and it's a huge, like, I mean, massive state park, but I was able to get back to this one area that we visited, which was cool. It's like kind of like it's a mineral spring, so like it's like a geologist's dream, I guess, if you will. But it's this like awesome waterfall, and it just cascades down, and it's just this beautiful, like, I mean, beautiful area of the mountains. But that was just one of the days that I got to do on my way out. But where I stayed was this tiny little cottage. Like, you wouldn't want to, like, you, you'd rather probably be in a tent because it's just like nicer. You know what I mean? Like, that's how small and like it's just like tiny this place was. But it wasn't about that. What it was about was the fact that the owner had he had 2,500 acres of state land behind his house that was untapped and unused, right? So I knew that, I knew there was a good possibility that there was something going on back there, but it was also really tough terrain to work, right? Because like there's no trails, so it's mountains, you know what I mean? So you have to find your way through and go through and this and that. So I did my best filming like I could. I brought people along for as much as I could. I'll put that together later. But most of it was like rock crawling and rock climbing and hanging glow sticks, even in the daytime, hanging glow sticks, because not just because if you're coming back, like, I don't think people realize the safety issues. Not even just coming back, like, if in case you get caught in the dark, you want to find like a safe route, right? Because you don't know what's under your footing, right? So if you do happen to find like a safe route where you didn't fall through and drop down a cavern and whatever, or sprain an ankle or step in a rattlesnake den or whatever, like, you want to go that way again, you know what I'm saying? Like, so basically, in essence, it was a whole lot of that. And at night it was fun. I was doing some live streams, doing some fire pits, doing some recording, just really a lot of there was owl activity, like a lot of owl activity. But then there was this one particular night where it sounded like two owls were communicating, and then there's one point where it just this, like, it sounds like this chimpanzee just joins in, and it's like it's really hard to like. Listening to it, you can listen to it and be like, "Oh, that's just an owl," but like, I don't put out just shit to put out there. You know what I mean? Like, I do to an extent. Sometimes I just put out things like, "Hey, like, here's just like, here's just the whole thing. Look through it." But this was one of those moments where I was like, "Hey, I think I got something special here," And anyway.
Yeah. Well, I can interject something there about the monkey sounds with the owls, because when I was living in Decatur, Georgia, when I was young, wild and free, back in those days. I was out walking my dog one night, and I lived in this place that had a lot of oak trees there. Okay, very nice neighborhood, had a lot of oak trees and owls. And I love communicating with animals. And I made a mistake one night when I was walking my dog of hooting at the owls. And they were hooting back and forth, and I would listen to them. I'd lay in bed at night and I could hear them communicating and hooting. And so I was walking the dog, and they were going hoo hoo, and I was like hoo hoo. I did the same noise that they did. Well, apparently it was like a gang fight or something. I don't know. It's like I was wearing the wrong colors in their hood. You know what I mean? And they got mad, and it went from like them going hoo hoo to going like this. It sounded like a rabid monkey is what the only thing I could describe it. And it wasn't just like hooting at me violently. It sounded like a rabid monkey, but it chased me. Okay, so it was like I ended up taking off running with my dog. I had to run because I thought it was going to attack, and it was more than one. Wow. So I was in the wrong hood. Okay, apparently I called out the wrong sign or something. I don't know. But yeah, I would never do that again now because I felt kind of bad. But I was speaking the wrong language apparently.
I say that a lot too with with Bigfooters, like when you see them like on TV or whatever the case is, and they're out there like, ah! I'm like, what are they even saying? I'm like, I wonder if like, like what are you yelling out there? Like, what if it's I won't say any like outlandish phrases, but you know what I'm getting at here, right? Like,
yes,
you know what you're saying.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, but I can attest to the owls sounding like primates in some way. And people do get that confused, like with the research and stuff. Sometimes, like I had that happen to me personally back a long time ago, and so I can say firsthand from experience that they sound like monkeys when they get hyped up.
Maybe it was just that then, you know what I mean? Like maybe it was just that. Because to me it sounded like there was two of them, and then all of a sudden there was just like a third that just sounded totally different, like. And I was doing what you're describing. I was kind of like messing with them a little bit, like, ooh, like kind of like trying to, at that point, trying to get them to, I don't know, like, go up a gear or, communicate back. So it's quite possible you might have just hit the nail on the head. So, I mean, whatever. Yeah. But that's
we
really
got to be careful. We don't know. It's like when you go to a foreign country and someone has only taught you their cuss words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. It's that kind of a deal.
I was just talking about that with a buddy of mine that I went to elementary school with. I said, do you remember when we had the foreign exchange student and they like left him with us and like just left him with us, like, and we're like, here, you guys like teach him, you know what I mean? You teach him everything. And it was like, that was the first thing we did, not for lack of better, and we're 6 and 7 year olds. Of course, we're going to teach them the curse words because it's funny. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's the way I can relate it in my head. So I think that's hilarious. Yeah. Okay. So let's kind of get into, so you've been out in the woods a lot lately, and you always have a lot of really cool activity going on, and you have a relationship kind of, because you've been doing this research for a while, and you started building up kind of a familiarity with the Sasquatch around Long Island where you research.
Yeah.
What had been, so we've got some interesting, we've talked about an interesting encounter or two, especially with the owls. What are some of your scariest encounters that you've had out in the field when it comes to cryptids or the unseen, period?
Oh man. When I saw you put that title, I said, all right, like if we do come to that topic, if it does come to that topic,
Oh, yeah.
I'll
We're
I'll
here.
speak I'll speak about one, and the one I'll speak about is the one that I can only categorize as what would be like creepy pasta, like a rake. Um, that that pale humanoid crawler, right? Right. And I say creepy pasta because if anybody's ever seen that picture, like that's the closest thing I can give you. Um, like it was like naked like this, you know what I mean? And like it had veins popping out of it, right? Like it was like it was like alien-esque, but not, but not, right? So I had seen this thing on a particular day, and I was down in the woods, and I was near Bubba, so I was feeling kind of, like laxed and bold and whatever, and something didn't feel right. And like it was like an overcast day. And I always refer to this because I think it's important because it was like a really weird weathery day on both days. And this particular day, it was like very overcast to the point where like you ever see where like animals don't act the same when it's like a storm's coming or it's like really overcast or whatever. Like nocturnal animals might be out or like things just don't act the right way, right? And this thing was out, and I got the feeling like it wouldn't normally be out. Like it just wouldn't normally be out there. Like if it was a sunshiny day, it wouldn't have been standing there, right? But it went and it took off and it went its way, and it went into this like thing I just refer to as the rake cave, right? But it's like in essence, it's this huge tree holding up these like it's a bunch of different things holding up these old building, uh like cement and different debris and whatever, and like it's this just giant hole that goes underneath uh all this like old federal buildings and stuff, right? Like so like there's just miles and miles and miles of God knows what under there, right? um Anyway, so that was day one. Um, so the second time, I, it was same situation. I saw it again. It was overcast. I'm just walking through, and I see it. And so here's how this played out. I had just come from where it was standing. I had just come from, and it had been like not like trail terrain, right? Like it was I'm off trail. I'm in Bubba's woods, I'm in his section, like whatever, like there's no trails, there's some deer trails and um there's all these huge down trees, like big ones. Some of them I had to literally like roll over, like you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
like you either had to like climb up over them or whatever, or like so like I was putting my back on them and like rolling over them because they were so big. So I couldn't just like swing my leg over them, you know what I mean? So like it took me a while to get through this terrain, right? So when I finally do, I get to the other side. I'm at this point now where I have this wall of um just like it's just this huge hill that goes pretty much straight up. It's almost a 90 degree, and it's got a bunch of loose leaves on it and whatever, and it's nothing but sand underneath, and I know it very well, and like the Ray Cave is like on that hill, but like way down, right? Like way down, like. way past all the debris and everything. So like I know I never go out that way because in order to do so, I literally have to dig my hands into the into the earth and like pull myself up and like dig, you know what I mean? Because it's so slippery between the sand and the leaves on it. There's no way to like just kind of, you can't even get on like all fours and like make your way up. You have to like physically dig in. So I decided, I said, all right, I'm gonna go out the other way. I'm gonna go the long way round and make my way out. Well, that's when I saw this thing again. And it was standing in the spot where I just was, like where I had just been, where it's, 10, 15 minutes before, whatever it was. And I had to cross over all that stuff that I was just telling you about, like all these, you know, uh, big brown trees. There was thorns and, whatever, all sorts of debris. But this time when I saw this rake, we'll just keep calling it a rake. I don't know what to call it, Jess. I have no idea what the hell it is.
Well, I think most people watching probably would be familiar with what a rake is. It's like and you did describe it pretty well, and it's just like a white, an all white, creepy, crawly thing with long arms and long legs, and they move weird. They look like an alien, but maybe not.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
like
don't know what they are.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, and I don't even know. Like a rake has a certain description, right? And I don't know if that's what it was, so I don't want to like categorize it. I really don't want to categorize it, but I could tell you what happened to me and what I saw. And yeah, it had like its veins were like, so now this is the second day, and that thing's stronger now, Jess. And like, it doesn't look at it's not looking at me like, oh, like I'm some timid little shit, right? Like, and it's like a gloomy day, like it's like pulsing. If anybody's ever seen the movie Split, it's this movie where like there's these multiple personalities and they're talking about the beast is coming. And then when this thing finally comes at the end of the movie, he's like, and his veins are like, and that's what it was like. But like you could see like purple and blue, and like you could see its veins were like raised, and you could almost see like the blood going through it, and like it was stronger. And the thing was just it looked like a predator that day, right? Like it looked like, okay, like I'm strong. Like I don't know how to explain it other than like, like in that movie with Interview with a Vampire, when the guy like he's eating the rats and he's really weak, and then other times like he's like really strong because he's been feeding like that like a vampire, like that. Like the first time it didn't look so sure of itself, it didn't look so strong. This time he looks ready to like, like let's dance. So
that's terrifying, Mike. That's really scary.
In itself, it was. So I was froze. I was froze, and I'm looking now, right? So like, the soldier in me is like, where's my options? Fight or flight, right? Look right. There's that wall. Can't get up it. I know it well. I know that wall well. I can't get up that damn thing. No matter. I'm just gonna do this right, like a frantic, like just frantic person just trying to get up and then keep sliding down. I can't run that way fast, right? Because it's a whole bunch of shit debris. I know how that goes. Like, but I don't think I can outrun this thing anyway. I'm watching this thing just like pulsing and like freaking just kind of like, right? And it's a gloomy day, and it's just like really like the notion sinks in, like, shit, this is it. Like, this is it.
You thought it was over?
Yeah, I'm like,
you're ready to fight.
No, I didn't.
No,
it charged me. It charged me.
Oh my god.
It's so here's where shit gets like you were just describing. it starts to move like a frog and a spider and like like a speeding bullet at the same time, right? At one point there was two saplings or whatever, like trees that were like, you know, you could probably like almost put your hands or fists around like maybe once or twice, and they were strong enough, but it like they were probably, you know, arms width apart. It went and grabbed those and pulled itself, right? And projected itself forward, like to leap through it, like forward, like almost like do a Superman like dive, right? And so it did like a frog thing at that point, and it was jumping off shit, like it was clinging to things like Spider-Man, right? Like how Spider-Man lands on a wall and like all his feet are together and like jumps off the stuff, and like I know it sounds nuts, but you have to imagine I just went through this area, and it beat me up, like it beat me up, like I was catching like cuts, I was catching thorns, I was tippy-toeing through it, I was bumping and bruising and ouching and owing, right? And I'm watching this thing now doing like leaping lizard shit through the same area like it's nothing, and it's beelining for me. And as I'm watching it do all these like impossible things, I'm just like, it's basically processing in my mind like I have no chance. You know what I mean? Like I have no chance here. So yes, I did. I literally remember saying to myself like, shit, well, like shit, like this is it. Like just like I was like kind of like disappointed, like shit, like that's it. Like this is just how. This is the day. This is the shit everyone talks about. You know what I mean? Like because like I'm sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit, but like I had always had like those good encounters, right? Like those good days and this and that, and like, man, that was not like I just was like almost like disappointed in myself, like shit, like that's it, like there it goes, like, you know. And I didn't think nobody like I wasn't thinking about like, you know, much about anything except like that was, there was no fight. Like fighting wasn't an option, running wasn't an option. You know what I mean? Like it was just there wasn't fear. It really was just like stuck on stupid, right?
Like
And
you felt like you thought, well, I really screwed up, is what you were feeling. Is that what you're
oh
saying?
man,
Like
yeah,
you shouldn't have
yeah,
been there?
yeah, yeah. Especially because it was the second time I saw that damn thing, right? Like
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, why'd I put myself back here? You know what I mean? Like, why'd I have to come back? And it was so much later. You know what I mean? It had been such a later date. Like, it was so like whatever. Like for whatever. So many times I had been around the area and nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like, all I know is that some bitch is still down there somewhere, right? But we'll get to the end of our story because, right, I'm still standing here. So
Yeah,
how's
what? So I know I was gonna say, like, what happened? How did it go away? Did you yell at it? Did you buck up on it and be like, come at me, bro? Like, what happened? I'm dying to know here. I'm just glad I'm glad you made it. Okay, I'm
it
glad you're
doesn't
here.
I don't think it would have give me one sec. I really don't think it would have worked like that.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I mean, this you could have
If I
very easily
had,
become a statistic with the David Paulides Missing 411 series. I
if
mean,
I,
this is actually, I mean, because I've been seeing a lot of videos of rakes lately. I mean, way more than I should be seeing online. A lot of rakes, and a lot of them are around the Appalachian Mountains. And we've got Charles in here from Catskill Mountain Bigfoot. What's up, Charles? He's up in your area. I've been seeing videos of rakes in the Appalachian Mountains, in around people's houses and stuff. And as a matter of fact, my friend Don, I think Don Tart, one of my teammates, I see David in the chat. Hey, David. David Pardue was on my show last night, y'all. Y'all need to go check that out. But Don has a video which looks like a rake in his backyard. too.
Yeah.
And he lives in North Carolina, I think. So it's Appalachian Mountains. What's up with these rakes, man?
Well, that whole trail, it seems to be like the whole, and it's a long trail, and there's so many stories and so much history, and there's so much like slip and falls, right? Like, and like we never know. We don't know. So right, let me get to the end of the story.
Okay.
Because Mike's still standing here, right?
Yes.
So that there has to be a happy ending, right? Not what you might think.
Okay.
This is really weird. I mean, this shit gets really weird. So we had established earlier that I had this established this relationship with the Sasquatch, right?
Mhm.
And I'm still not one that likes to call on it or ask it for anything or ask them for anything or push anything too much. I always just am like the one who says, "Hey, I'm here. But I'm vibrating at my frequency. I'm here. I'm sharing my energy. I'm whatever you want to give me, please. Whether it be you or them or whoever it may be. Like, forest, universe, whatever. I'm here, right? That's just how I've always been. So I didn't even think to like, I don't know, whatever. Nobody would think this shit, right? But boom, lo and behold, next to me is Bubba. Now, this is the second time I've seen this Sasquatch in the flesh. The first time was the first time that I've ever seen anything. And this is the second time. And he's next to me. And I know he's next to me, but I'm not really looking. You'd think, oh, there's a Sasquatch next to you. You're going to turn and look at it, right? I didn't necessarily really turn and look at it. I just kind of side-eyed and knew, like, and looked and noticed he was there. And let's get down to the nitty-gritty. He screams. And you would think that this large, gigantic, 10-foot, whatever it is, 1,000-pound Sasquatch, right? Barrel chest. You might think, right? At least this is me. I'm thinking a big, giant, deep tone would come out. It sounded like screeching brakes amplified to like a million. I don't know how to explain it, but it sounded supersonic, sonar, loud, scream, high pitch. And he screamed at that thing. And mind you, this thing is coming full force at me. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this thing bull charging me, leaping through the freaking trees and jumping off the shit. And I'm sitting here just saying, shit, it's going to kill me. Like, it's like I'm 2 seconds from just being consumed by and ripped to pieces by this thing. And then boom, next to me. And he starts screaming. And you can tell that it's like almost like a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And he's aiming it at the target. It as soon as he screamed at it, it took it and sent it in a backwards motion. It took it off its feet and like took it in a backwards motion and instantly sent it running towards that back the other way. And he followed it. I watched, out of, like I said, out of the corner of my eye, I watched him like follow it with his head and vocals and make it go towards that hole in the ground, right? That rake cave that we called it, right? And I can't explain a few things coming up here, right? I kind of like looked up and I remember kind of just getting this I don't remember what it was, but it was like this, like, you go now, like, go now, like, time to go now, like, and I just Like, okay, like, and next thing you know, I was on top of that hill. The one that I was just telling you takes me forever to get up it, and it's damn near impossible. I was just there, like up there, like it, like something just kind of like took me and just was like here,
Yeah.
right, just put me up
Oh.
there, and like I don't know how to explain that part. It's not like I just blacked out and I like there was so much excitement and so much chaos that I forgot I climbed up there. Like no. Like I was just there. You know what I mean? Like I was just there. Like I didn't put in the effort. I didn't physically climb it. I just got moved up there somehow. Here's another thing. How was this supersonic like scream affecting this thing so badly, this rake so badly, right? And I'm standing my ear is right next to it, but it's not affecting me, right? And that's
Like a
something.
dog whistle does. Like the dogs can hear the whistle, but the humans can't because it's out of our frequency.
That's what I'm wondering. Like to this day, like. But it was. But here's the thing: I could hear it. Like I could hear it that he was doing it, but it wasn't like hurting me. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I know it doesn't probably, but like again, all I can do is tell you like the chain of events, and you can take from it what you will. But when we talk about scariest cryptid encounters, and then you want to talk about a relationship with a Sasquatch, like that is the best thing I can give you right there. Is like, there. I don't know. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to find this comment. Baby girl is in the chat. Says Sasquatch hunt these crawlers, as do dogmen. So that's interesting. I haven't done a ton of research on the pell crawlers and the rakes. I've seen a lot of videos of them lately. Maybe I should do a show on pell crawlers here this week. Maybe we'll see. But that's interesting.
There's a kid that wrote a book about him, and I don't think he's had an encounter himself. But there's a kid that wrote a book about him, and it might be a good thing to source. I remember it was it was the first time I ever told that that kid was present. I say kid, like he's a younger guy, but
well, you're young too. You're still young too.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Everything's starting to take its toll. But yeah, thank you.
So Mike, that must have been totally confusing to you. And the fact that it's almost like you teleported to the top of that hill, but I mean, in reality, it might have just been like you just don't remember, because when you're in the moment and you have such, I mean, I would have potentially, well, of course I do the cryptid research, but the normal person would have probably passed out with all of that. I mean, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. And it's interesting because I was having a conversation with Ron Moorhead at the Georgia Bigfoot Conference. We were talking, and he was telling me I'd shown him a sketch of the Bigfoot that my son had. I was with them. David Pardue was there too, who's in the chat, and Dawn. Okay, but my son was kind of describing what he remembered, seeing as a Bigfoot, and me and Ron were kind of talking about it. And he was telling me a story about a woman out of the United Kingdom, out of the UK, who had an encounter with she just went to the beach to go take pictures of the ocean and the sunset. And when she got down there, a family, a pod, I guess you call it, of Bigfoots walk out on the beach. It's like one gigantic like male, two females, and some children.
They do it all. Yeah.
She was so I think that Ron had taken the encounter, I guess, and said that she was so overwhelmed by it. It was so shocking that she fainted. And the next thing she knows, she wakes up and she's leaned up against her car. Okay, because I think what happened was when she saw it, I don't know if she screamed or whatever happened, but it brought the attention of the Bigfoots to her. And the male charged at her, towards her like it was running towards her. And one of the females grabbed him and stopped him. And that's when she fainted. That's the last thing she remembers, is seeing that big male coming at her. And then the female stopped him. And then she woke up by her car. It was nighttime.
I get a lot of reports from boat captains and fishermen and stuff, and like people who clam and shit. And a lot of these places have become like illegal, right? Like, because like overfishing, over clamming, over, you know, whatever, this and that. So they still are going into these spots, and they're like reporting these giant men, and they're in the water waiting and stuff, but these guys are just out there like fishing, and they're like by themselves in the middle of nowhere, like no flashlights, no nothing, like, you know. And there's this one guy who just he actually he's responsible for 2, maybe 3 of them. 3 of those stories. And then I told you, of course, that one mermaid one came in, and that one really kind of threw me for a loop, you know, which I'd like you to do a, what do you call it on that one?
The remote viewing?
Yeah, drop a pin on that shit, because that place is special, man.
Okay, C. Duke in the chat says, dang, so you still go alone? You still go into the woods alone, Mike? Yeah, I mean, because well, you're cut from a different cloth, okay, and a lot of us researchers are, I guess, but yeah, you are very brave to go back there.
Thank you. And
have you been back?
There's an important message in it all, is the fact that I am still here, and like I think that's a very that's a very important part about it all, is for every story that we tell, like there's a reason that we tell it, and it's because we made it out of there, right? And we have to like really look at things like unobjectively and like unemotionally. So like some things are very traumatic, right? Like that's traumatic for me. Like it's hard for me to even still tell that story. I started tearing up because I started to put myself back in the moment, right? But at the same time, how am I trying to say this? Yeah, like there's like, we have to look at it like it's not so bad, right? Like it can't be that bad, because even though it might be really, really scary at times, like we do make it out. Like we do make it out to tell our stories, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. No, we've always made it out. I mean, I've had some really harrowing experiences out in the woods myself. And those are the nights, you know, especially when you're out there overnight. Those are the nights that you don't sleep at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're guaranteed to be really tired the next day. Okay. But you're also, your adrenaline will still be pumping no matter what. And you're just waiting. Honestly, I've had several nights where I was just waiting for that sun to pop out, just for the first bit of hint of daylight to come out, because it can be really scary out there, even when you're in a tent. Okay.
It is.
Even when you're at base camp,
you're right.
It's still very scary.
I'm not gonna front. It is absolutely terrifying. Like, especially when you're camping, like it's very terrifying. You like when you know everything can see you, and you can only see it so far. Like you can only see to the edge of your flashlight. You only can rely on, you know, that battery life on that thing, right? Or your fire, like however long, you know, you got your fire, like, and how far that light goes, right? These things like really like are heavily on your mind, you know what I mean? Because it's different for people who go to like a campsite, or they go to like, oh, we're going on a camping thing, and like it's like 50 people or like 10 people or whatever. Like that shit is that is totally different. Or a campground, that is totally different. I mean, when you drop your stuff in a place that is not charted territory, and you know nobody knows you're out there except maybe the person you told, so that if you don't come back, you know what I mean, like that is some sketchy stuff. and it is. It is, and a lot of people love it because I live stream it and stuff. It's a lot of times it makes me feel less alone. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times it makes me feel less alone. You know?
Well, at least people will know where you are, and if something happens to you, it's captured live. Okay. Now there is that interesting case that I had been given as a remote viewing target about 2 weeks ago. It was at Fort Pierce, Florida, Dogman. And it was the gentleman. His name's Blue, down in Fort Pierce, Florida. He had been seeing something really weird outside. He'd taken some pictures. It turned out to be like a dog man. And he went out. He went outside. He was on Facebook live streaming, and he was freaking out. And he was like, "Okay, well, I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to show you." And he goes over and he opens up his door, and he pans the camera. Yeah, he pans the camera into his backyard. Yeah. And there's a bunch of trees on a tree line, and as he's doing it, it looks like a dog man. Okay, it looks like a dog man, and my remote viewing data was very interesting on that one, because it almost looked like it was either moving really fast or it was like transparent. Okay, but it was something on two legs.
When it came under that light, right? You know, that's when they saw it, right? When it came under that light.
Yes, right? The light. That's like right. Street light.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw that. Like, man, like right after, I didn't follow the person, but that made it to me so fast to the point where I caught the end of that live stream. Like, if you watch that live stream, if you watch that live stream close enough, like I'm in there somewhere. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, towards the end of it, but yeah, because it was wild. It was wild.
Oh yeah. Well, it's really cool though, but he caught that on Facebook Live, and there's not a whole lot of like Facebook Lives, real time kind of stuff like that happens. We're out there videoing and stuff, but I mean, wherever I go out and do my research, we don't have phone service. So there's no phone service anywhere that I go. So the best we can do is record something and then show it later. Yeah. If we choose to.
I mean, it takes all types. It's not. You don't need to record everything. You don't need to live stream everything. Like, we need people to do all sorts of different things, and whatever works. Whatever works for you works for you. You know what I mean? Like, I just do. That's how I started. Like, I started doing live streams. That's how I started. And back when I was doing live streams, Bigfoot live streams, nobody was doing them. It was like unheard of. People were like, "He's doing what? Like, he's doing it live? Like, he's not editing it and like this and that and like it's just all I was just, I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just like literally like, hey, like, anybody want to come along? Like, anybody want to tell me what to do? Anybody got any ideas? Like, I don't know what's going on." And then that's just how it carried over. When I finally started making videos, like, later on, that's why I talk through everything. Like, I just kind of talk through everything and tell people exactly what I'm doing and how I'm thinking and like what I'm, that way when people look back on it, like, or like I look back on it, like it's like a video diary. You know what I mean? It's literally like a video diary of everything I've done. And that's, I don't know, I think that's kind of cool.
Were you recording it all when you encountered this rake? The pill crawler.
I think my camera was off because I had everything in my pack, and I was like, literally, I had to like put everything in my pack, and like I had to like, because I was literally rolling over the logs. I don't think I have footage of that day. I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, that would be, that would make a great movie, actually, like a documentary. No. If you were to ever go back and like record, like do a documentary on all your experiences out there and stuff, that would be a great clip, actually. It'd be terrifying.
Even when you get, even when you get good footage, like, It doesn't seem to make a difference. It really
No,
doesn't.
I'm saying like a reenactment. I'm talking about a reenactment.
Oh, okay,
I know
yeah.
it wouldn't do what happened to you justice by any
No,
means,
no,
but it would make for a really creepy movie too. That'd be awesome. Or documentary. Man,
yeah.
yeah, that's wild. Like my next thing is we need to figure out what these rakes are. Where are they coming from? That a rake would be a great remote viewing target. So maybe somebody will task me with one of those in the future, because there are plenty of sightings at this point. There's actually one guy on YouTube or TikTok that's always he lives in the Appalachian Mountains, and he seems to have a lot of paranormal activity around his home. And he, oh man, it's not just him; it's a whole bunch of people out and it's out in the middle of nowhere. People staying in cabins and stuff.
Well, I think there's so again, I think that there's people out there that are categorizing these as two different things, right? Because I think that they're some people are calling them feral people. You know what I mean?
No,
But I
they're
think
feral people though.
no, I know, but I think some people are just saying feral people, but I think they're rakes too. You know what I mean? Like there's just a bunch of like, I think there's a bunch of them. I'm telling you, there's a good amount of them out there.
Yeah, where
Especially
are
with
they
those
coming from?
mammoth caves. I mean, think about it. Think about all that cave system down there, like under Kentucky and all that, like all that.
Tennessee too. Yeah,
Yeah, like, and then you got the
Boston.
Smoky Mountains and the Appalachian. Like, I mean, that shit. Forget about it.
Yeah. Well, and they're also, and you were close enough to see that it had blue veins coming out of its skin,
Yeah,
and that does sound like
different
something that
colors.
came from a cave and it didn't get sunlight at all, almost like a vampire, dare I say? Right? Just really tell.
Well,
That's
I
why there's a
definitely.
pill crawler.
I
Yeah.
could show you exactly where it came from. I could probably put a game camera in front of that hole and see it again if I wanted to. I don't know if I want to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I want to. Like,
Oh my gosh. Well, wow. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us tonight, Mike. That is, I mean, I have never heard this story. This is brand new. This is hot off the press for
oh,
me.
really?
You
Really?
haven't told me the story. No, because we're
Oh,
always talking about
cool.
Dogman and Bigfoot. So
Oh, yeah.
I am way into this one. This is a really cool story, and
That
I'm
one
sorry it happened to
traumatized.
you.
Yeah. It traumatized the shit out of me. That's why I don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
glad that
sorry.
I'm glad that
Excuse
you
my
talked
language.
about it.
Excuse my language. Yeah,
Oh,
but
don't apologize. It's all right. If I could
well,
bleep
you
beep
brought
you out,
up.
I would.
Yeah, you brought it up like about like the Bigfoot protecting, and like that's the best like case I can like think of. You know what I
It's
mean?
the
Like
best
by
one.
far, he saved my life. Like I can't put it any other way. He saved my life.
I know.
Didn't have to step in at all. Like, and so it's very important, I think, too. Like, it teaches us a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can take away from that. Because, like, this is why, like, when I hear like people say Bigfoot are evil and they're bad and they want to kill humans and shit, and I'm like, like, like on a personal level, I'm like, no, you know what I mean? Like, definitely not. And again, I can't speak for across the board, but I don't think any of us should. You know what I mean? I don't think any of us should speak like in blanket statements. Does that, if you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I am just so thankful that you came on tonight and talked to us about this. I'm going to ask you some more questions about this in private. We need to talk about this some more because this is a really cool story. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's about time for you to write a book. Okay, so hopefully you'll get on that this
I
year.
just that
Get you a
keeps
book.
coming up. It keeps. All right. I keep hearing that.
Add it to the list. I know, right? Well, Mike, tell everybody where they can find you and about your YouTube channel.
There you go, right there. That's it. That's
That's it.
yeah. I'm not going to self promote myself. Thank you, guys. I appreciate. I'm just happy everyone's here and comes together. And you can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com and More Woman Goods. And
You are on my website for sure. You are. But no, you guys, please go subscribe to Long Island Bigfoot. It's actually at Bigfoot Sasquatch on YouTube. Okay. So
Yeah.
Long Island Bigfoot. Yeah. And y'all go check out Mike. He is super boots on the ground. I have mad respect for you and all of your research out there. And I've actually done some Bigfooting with Mike in New York. Gosh, we had a good time. We had a great time. We did. All right, Mike. Well, thank you for being here. Please come back and hang out with us again on Spaced Out Radio. Okay. Be safe out there. Okay. All right. Mike.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye. Oh my gosh, y'all. That was so awesome. I hope y'all enjoyed that as much as I did. I just love me some Long Island Bigfoot Mike. He's the best. All right, y'all. Please go over to After Hours. Rob G has our friend Jim Goodall on tonight. So y'all go over there, hang out in the live chat, and show some love to Rob G tonight. All right, y'all come see me this week over at the Cryptid Huntress. Please subscribe over to our channel here at Spaced Out Radio if you haven't already, and go over to my channel as well, the Cryptid Huntress, and subscribe. Like all those videos if you like them, share them out, and leave me some comments. Let me know you're watching. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful week. You guys stay safe out there, and I will see you guys on my show. I'll be on there Wednesday, so y'all come see me on Wednesday. Y'all have a great night. I hope y'all had a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.